fan base has been re-energized over 2 years. I mean, pack in the place, and they're excited about making the playoffs again because they don't do it that often.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Toronto is certainly a really solid baseball town. I know maybe sometimes some of the Canadian cities that are involved in our professional sports may get a bad rap, and particularly Toronto, obviously, because it is a hockey town, and that's first and foremost their sport. But when this baseball team wins, they're certainly going to show up, and I think they want a contender. And, I think that's evident in the fact that the Blue Jays went out and hired Ben Sherrington. They take the baseball operation part of it seriously, and I think that they need to make some decisions, obviously, after this season. And, certainly they're focused on their future, and certainly they know that they reap the benefits of putting a great product out there.
It's fascinating here is the Orioles are so close to making the playoffs, and as much as there's not a lot of buzz around the team and people aren't going to the games and they're not excited, getting through this thing, if they win and they beat Toronto or whomever it is, they're going to have to see the Cleveland Indians. And, at some point down the stretch here, I was out in Cleveland over the weekend for the Browns and the Ravens and talking to a bunch of Cleveland media people. And obviously Paul Hoynes tweeted out that he didn't think the Indians could win given the injury situation there. And that created quite a stir with Kipnis and some of the guys in the locker room. And I always say the baseball players are a bunch of babies. They're all sensitive. And they actually hear all that crap. But it really is a diminished – I remember 12 when Markakis got hurt here. I'll still go back to that and say that was a real challenge, a real difference maker for a team that was going in for the first time. And this Cleveland team, by and large, a couple guys have had a cup of coffee in October, but this has been a nice, solid effort for them to lose key guys here late in the year. That's exactly what you don't want to see.
Yeah, especially their rotation. I mean, this is a team that obviously finds itself in this position because of the way it's pitched all year. They're not an offense that's going to set the world on fire, but when you talk about October, what you want is pitching. And one thing that I think is vastly overrated is this idea that you sort of want a three-man rotation, because that's not true. I think there are certain cases where a team's top two pitchers have been forced to pitch, a large number of games in a series. Obviously what comes to mind are the 0-1 Diamondbacks and Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling pitching 5 games in that World Series. But that's a product of a lack of pitching depth. You want to be able to go 4 deep, because the reality is your pitchers are obviously going to be better with more rest. And if you really slice it, the way a 7-game series sort of breaks down is that your top 2 pitchers are pitching 4 games anyways, and that's all you need to win. So it's much, much better if you can pitch them on full rest. So I think the Indians obviously are going to be hurt by this idea that they may have to go to a 3-man rotation. That actually looks to be what they're going to do.
Seth Gruen joining us here from Bleacher Report, talking all things Major League Baseball. And I've talked to folks about the Nationals and their possibilities. And certainly for them, Strasburg's a part of that. But, boy, the Giants look like they might not even be in the party. I mean, you talk about teams that have some problems, or, the Cubs' problem is sitting around and maybe getting bored at this point. Certainly the Dodgers and the Giants with some bad blood the other night involving star players. And the Giants are just in this fade right now that is unusual for an even year, Seth.
Yeah. Well, it's unusual for Bruce Bochy managed team, and especially a team that's been through this. It's bizarre. It's one of those inexplicable things here in 2016. I still believe that the Giants, if they get to the playoffs, could very easily be the biggest threat to the Cubs, just because of that 1-2 pitching combination they have in Bumgarner and Cueto. But you mentioned the Nationals too. They've obviously got the pitching, the starting pitching, and the bullpen, for that matter, to compete with any team. And I think that the quality of pitching is sort of what's going to lessen the gap that we've seen between the Cubs and everybody else in the National League over the course of a 162-game regular season, because, as we know, October is a pitching-dominant month.
I never count the Cardinals out, but I haven't heard a word about the Cardinals in like 5 months, and now all of a sudden they're sitting in this position to make noise over the next week and a half. Mets, Cardinals, Giants, somebody's not going to be going to the postseason, and I don't even call it the playoffs. I call it playoff. It's a singular. You don't make the playoffs unless you win the wild card game, because you only get one chance. For these 3 teams, who do you like over the next 2 weeks?
I think I look at each of these teams and they're flawed. They just have so many. When you think of them as a playoff team, you say, well, what about this? What about that? The Mets obviously have been hit hard with injuries to their starting rotation. I still think Noah Syndergaard, is one of the best pitchers in baseball when he's healthy. So, that helps them. But then again, their offense has just been anemic all year. At the end of the day, I'm going to go with the Mets and Giants just because that's who I've been going with all year. And I think when push comes to shove and the Giants really need to win a game, they're going to win. But hey, it's anybody's guess. This is a real crapshoot.
Well, and a lot of it for me always comes down when you're looking 2 weeks out to say who's on the schedule. I guess for the Cardinals, it's
the Mets have an easy schedule.
Yeah, well, and the Cardinals have to play the Cubs, and that never works real well in Chicago late in the year.
Right.
But, certainly some winnable games for them. And again, we don't hear much about the Cardinals at all. I've heard so much about the Giants. Now we're going to be monitoring whether they even make the tournament or not. Seth, always great having you on, man. You concerned about the Orioles, or are you still believing 2 weeks from now they will be in said playoff game?
Yeah, I still believe in them. I just think that they've proven they've been one of the best teams in baseball all year. They happen to be playing in a very competitive division, but look, they still have a chance, obviously, at present to push the Red Sox in that division. But if not, I expect them to be playing in a wild card game.
All right. Well, I'm holding the schedule for 2 weeks from Tuesday. Hey, appreciate your time as always. Going to be following you out there at Seth Gruen on Twitter as well as on Bleacher Report. Always great to have you on, bud.
Yeah, we'll catch up soon.
You got it. Some baseball conversation there. You can get more with Luke. He'll be at the ballpark each and every night out on our Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, anywhere the live social media things happen, and we're doing it out there. You can always email me, nasty@WNST.net. Anything you miss, you can find in the bio Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world. On your mobile device, just download the TuneIn Radio app. We come in crystal clear from wherever you happen to be. Our morning newspaper ships to your email inbox at 7 a.m. each and every morning, and that is powered up by Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. Still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life. And our text service, bringing you the breaking news first. You always get it first. It's always brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard, and Dennis will be here on Thursday, driving you home and getting you ready for Thursday Night Football. That's Monday Night Football. But it's going to be like a Monday night game. Houston and New England, both undefeated. Sloppy Thursday Night Football, that tricky Bill Belichick and his tricky sidekick, Bill O'Brien. We'll see how that goes on Thursday night. And Dennis will have you ready for that, as well as Oriole baseball. And I will be going to the game on Thursday night, so I'm looking forward to that. Taking my wife down to see Big Poppy's last plate appearances here at Camden Yards. At least we believe that to be the case. All the Boston media believes that, too. They believe he's really not coming back. Well, time will tell if they win a championship or not. You can obviously find out anything about what we do out at WNST.net, including our big event next Wednesday night. We'll be swabbing for the Bone Marrow Registry on Greenmount Station in Hampstead. We'll be having some crab cakes. Alex Lewis, new left guard for the Ravens, will be joining us, as well as Ryan Jensen from the a veteran offensive lineman who I've never interviewed. So I'm looking forward to getting Jensen at it. It's going to be a good night. We'll laugh a little bit, eat some crab cakes, swab some folks for the Bone Marrow Registry. Alex Lewis speaks fluent German, so we'll see if he'll order off the menu in German or something. We'll have some fun. I am Nestor. This is WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.